Need to shave. Anyway. I'm going to do something with my barrel maze I haven't bothered with in the past. Barrel maze is set up that in the winter, you can't adventure there. That's how it's set up. That you take off 3 months out of the adventuring year and come back in the spring. And what I do for weather, rather than have some hex flower or rolling a bunch of damn dice, my in-game weather and time of year is just parallels what's outside. We typically play once a week, and then we kind of just hand wave if you take an extra week off here and there. And if, like, I miss a session for a 2-week gap, only 6 days goes by. Or a day. 1 day to 6 days. Just whatever. So we don't really get past what the season outside is. So when we sit down, if I'm having a blizzard, there's a blizzard in the game. If I sit down and it's a heat wave or it just rained in the game. And that's how it'll be for those next couple of days. No big deal. Quick and easy, you just gotta look over your damn shoulder. It's worked pretty good for me so far. Still struggle with this congestion. It's aggravating. So what to do with the characters in the Barrel Maze campaign in the winter? They can't trunch around in the moor. It's frozen up. The roads are impassable. They need to get out of this backwater barony before the snow sets in. I just happen to have another adventure. It's themed. It's from some owl-themed con in Texas, I believe. I don't have the complete series because I don't believe it was ever completed. I think the last 2 or 3 proposed adventures were never made. I think they just dropped it. Real life happens. People get other stuff. They just move along. So I got 3 modules to work with. And I've already incorporated into my Roll20 VTT. So I'm going to slide them off into that. If they're interested, that is. And they will be. It's either that or go to the big city. And I hate urban adventures. But I got an urban adventure in mind if they wanted to go hang out in the city. But I think they're going to avoid that because they know as player characters they will be arrested, tried, convicted, and executed in towns. That's just how it is. I don't slack. You screw up in town, you become an outlaw or you get caught. And if you get caught, you face medieval style punishment. And I know we were born thumbing our nose at royalty and blah, blah, blah. As an American, right? You play that in a game where the Sovereign Liege has life and death authority over you, and they will just have you executed. And there will be a line of adventurers lined up to do it. It's like, let's leave town. Yeah, you might want to. You now have to deal with assassins and everyone else trying to kill you for the rest of your life because you can't hold your tongue. You murdered someone in town because I didn't like his attitude, man. That's what you get for being a sociopath. So I doubt they'll go to town. And it'll be some RP. And it'll tie my 2 current campaigns together as being in the same world, right? One adventuring group continuing in Hyfel. To the north of them, this will be somewhere in the middle. And it'll be a wizard from Hyfel. So when they both get done, I have another adventure path campaign to where I'm going to combine both campaigns. And they can pick, if players are in both campaigns, they can pick which character they want to use. And then I'm going to do my version of Giants. And they'll need about a 14-man table for that. Because there'll be times when there's 15 giants on the table. Yeah, there's 15, 16 hill giants. Well, you double the number of your party, so should be no big deal. And they all should be 8th level around that time. Which overlaps with something that Shadow and Son was saying this morning about power levels and blah, blah, blah. I don't like Monty Hall campaigns. And he may not agree with me about that, but some of the games I've seen run that he runs are Monty Hall in nature. And I'm not down with that. But if players develop power through extended campaign play, well, the end goal is domain play, and that's true power. Being a liege lord, or serving a greater purpose beyond yourself, or being the biggest, bestest magic user in the land, or the biggest, baddest, bruh. I am the Chad of barbarians. If it happens, it happens. But I don't lay out that as the plan to start the campaign. I don't. I pick an idea, a theme, and I get some people together, and then what happens over time. It doesn't make it that long. It doesn't make it that long. I've played in games where people ran empires. I did. My high-level wizard ran an empire. It turns your game into a bunch of damn bookkeeping, to be honest. And if you are hanging out people who love spreadsheets, and they love stuff that doesn't require everybody to be at the table at the same time to play, then great. I do find that it can be aggravating. It takes a level of attention to detail that a lot of people don't have. It takes a lot of attention to logistics that a lot of people don't want to be. If you're hand-waving encumbrance, and you are hand-waving how you get the treasure out of the dungeon, and you are hand-waving a lot of the stuff that's logistical in nature, you have no business playing a domain-level campaign. Because it is all about pencil-pushing math and having to deal with peasants. A lot of NPC interactions with merchants. And then it eventually will turn into a war game. Eventually. Unless you get along great with all your neighbors and you never go to war. I mean, okay. You could probably avoid large-scale warfare. But if you're a fighter, and you're in domain level play and you haven't got an army, then you're going to be invaded and conquered. The goblins will just they'll just overwhelm you. I wanted to be very peaceful and not have a standing army and thus have to tax my peasants. Yeah, the goblins, the goblin horde that you have let go on for the last decade, really appreciate that. They're here now and they're raping and murdering your entire citizenry. Can you stand alone versus 10,000? Oh, I got my Vorpal sword. Go out there with your Vorpal sword. Go ahead. Let's start rolling dice for the next 3 dice. Here lays Bartok the ruler. He slew 500 goblins with his bare hands. Eventually, however, he was backstabbed by Grok the Dirty with a rusty dagger coated in feces when he was down to his last 2 hit points. How does such a great man die? Well, 20 hits, bro. He's flanked. The congestion will not go away. Yeah, kind of a hodgepodge. I guess I'll do it out there. This owl theme thing is a lot of fun because it's a lot of puns turned into creature characters. Owl boars, owl hawk. You get my hoot horrors. Hoot, hoot. You get it? Hoot, hoot. I'm gonna leave hook horrors in the same area though. They'll be competing predators in the cavern systems versus the hoot horrors. It's going to be a hoot, guys. I'm going to change a bunch of the magic items. And I'm going to up power some of the creatures. It was made for Labyrinth Lord, and the levels, I think, are a little under. I think it says it's for higher level characters than it actually should be. But, I'll beef it up as needed and have a lot of fun with it. At least till April. And then April, they'll be able to go back to the Barrel Maze. So they got 3 months to go venture into the owl-themed hilarity that is this OwlCon thing. I love it. I think it's hilarious. There is a new class in there which I'm going to tinker with. I like the spells. I might just make it a regular magic user with a bunch of special spells instead of a whole class. I don't think you need a whole class where you can just have a cultish theme of magic users who cast the same kind of spells over and over. And then you give them special powers for being the person that they are or how they become how they are. Yeah, and I'm going to introduce 2 playable races. Two playable races will be unlocked. The Strigid and the Titanid. If you want to play an owl person. I already introduced a half ogre. I got one guy chomping at the bit to play half ogre. You want to play the big retard who can't wear magic boots or rings? Okay. There's the downside. But if they did get to the giant section, a half ogre would be able to pick up a hill giant weapon and possibly use it in melee. Which I don't think there's a lot of magical giant size stuff yet. It's right. Anyway, I thought it's out there. I'm going to review this while I put some filters on it and then toss it up. I'll go over those races when I introduce them into my campaign in depth then. I know my players actually watch my videos, so I don't want no spoilers. There's been a lot of cool spells coming out of the Arden Vol game, so I'm going to dig into the Arden Vol spells and put them in my VTT so I can sprinkle them in Highfell, because that's where any magic spells I run across in the Osric or Labyrinth Lord and stuff should all be available in there. And I've introduced Illusionary Wall as a permanent spell cast by a permanent spell effect that the illusionist can cast. I should make it's 4th level illusionist spell. I should make it a 6th level magic user spell as well. Haven't done that yet. Anyway, game well, game often, and Merry Christmas. Ho,